Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good wherever you find yourself. Welcome to another episode of Power Series with yours truly, Samuel joining, making a date with you this and every other Sunday. So thank you so much for joining us. If this is the first time, please do well to subscribe to the channel. It helps us to grow the channel and make it bigger and even better. So as we do it every Sunday, we try to demystify everything on the Microsoft Power Platform. Today there's some exciting things, some changes that are happening in the Power Platform, which then we're going to go through and see what the UI changes are, what the UI UX examples and things are, and then we'll see what you can do with it. So if this sounds like something that is of interest to you, stick and stay with me. When we come back, we'll be jumping right into having some Power Platform fun. Stick and stay with me. We'll be right back. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. This is the Power Series with yours truly, Samuel Adurani, all the way live from Ghana, Accra, West Africa. If you love the show, hey, I see you, my man, Elik Blim. Thank you for joining the stream today. You see, you're live on the stream today, Elik Blim Coffee. Oh, yes, it's going to be exciting. So keep your messages coming, keep your questions coming. Today's going to be a mixture of, everything we're going to see in the UI, and then, if you have any questions, drop the questions and I'll try to answer them. But welcome to the stream. Today, I want to give like 5 people stickers to my show, the Power Series. I don't know why my camera, maybe I need to go back. So take a look at this, the Power Series t-shirt. But I want to give stickers to about 5 people. So I don't know why Elik Blim keeps getting all the stickers and all the stuff. So he's already got himself a MX chip dev kit on the IoT Tuesday show, and today he's going to get a free Power Series sticker. So stick and stay with me. I'll give you that. So yeah, if my producers are on the show, if Albert is here, if Sylvian is here, let's please note that Elik Blim is getting a free sticker for Power Series. So Not too long ago, Microsoft released some updates, for the Power Platform. Huge update where we saw Power Virtual Agent not transitioning, but pretty much now part of Microsoft Copilot. I mentioned Copilot Studio. I mentioned this last week in the last week episode. Today, I want to focus on Power Automate. Now, if you don't know what Power Automate is, I've done a lot of things on the channel on Power Automate. You can somewhere on the screen, I'm going to put that in. But then Power Automate is pretty much the easy to use flow and business process automation part of the Power Platform that allows you to automate your stuff. So if you're pretty much automating stuff from, let's say, from business processes to email processing to sales, you think about it, any form of automation. It has a desktop companion for robotic process automation as well. I think I have not really treated robotic process automation on the show, so maybe as part of the series, we'll probably add that to it. But today, we're focusing on Power Automate, right? What you can do with Power Automate, and then, but more specifically, the new UI changes that have come, what to look out for, and stuff like that. But before we do that, I want to take you to if you're joining us, just drop your name, where you're joining us from. If it's from Accra, from YouTube, from just drop it there so we can just give you some shout out. And if you have a question about Power Platform in general as well, you can ask it in the chat. If you also have anything specific to Power Automate, you can also put it in the chat, and I'll try to answer that. One thing I want to encourage on this season is, if you have questions, just post them. And there's one particular one that's from why am I blanking? Joshua, I think Joshua in Nigeria, something about authentication. I think I probably would have to treat that on the show so that it becomes kind of like a tutorial learning material that people can use for people trying to do the same thing. So Joshua, if you're watching, maybe you can just drop the question there, I can show it, and maybe if we have time, we can walk through that online. So first of all, I want us to take a look at let's go look at what the release for Power Automate is. So I like to do this with the official Microsoft. Let's use the official Microsoft material for it, so that we can see that it's coming from the horse's own mouth. There is a video, but I mean it's a little long, so I don't know if we should do the video or we should just for the sake of time, we'll just walk through the series of. So this is release wave 2, right? So this is the plan. This is Power Automate 2023 release wave 2. So like I said, there's a video in there. We'll probably not look at that. But let me take you to the desktop. So now I believe you can see my desktop. So this is the official Microsoft, pretty much Microsoft release information on the next release wave. And as you can see up there as well, there's also a cloud skills challenge going on from November 15 2023 to January 15 2024. So take advantage of that, scale, get some certificates there and some badges to share. So there's a video that I was talking about. It's about 8 minutes long. I don't want to bore you with that. So we will look at that later on. But pretty much this is what to expect, right? In terms of the investment, into the Power Platform and specifically into Power Automate, there's streamlined workforce management. There's the ensuring scalability and privacy, which is pretty much now Microsoft is putting more, not now, but more effort into that. Democratization of process mining. There used to be a process miner in there to see how the processes are being used and how you can leverage it. There is the official document and also learning part for those who want to learn, because I keep getting the same question, how do we use it? Don't worry, I'll be showing you a demo of the new UI, and then we'll do a very simple flow, right? But I just want to take you through what the documentation is saying on the release wave and stuff to look out for. Now, these are the investment areas that Microsoft is making. All right, let's see if I can make this a little big. So the first part is cloud flow. So these are the areas that Microsoft is making a lot of investment in terms of cloud flow. So cloud, pretty much they are the core of everything Power Automate does, right? So now there is more of the Copilot assisted experience, which is being, the enhancement in it. There is more integration into the rest of the Microsoft Power Platform, like ability to invoke workflows from another app using Power Apps, alert triggered in Power BI, PVA, which is, it's still PVA, but just now encompassed into the Copilot Studio. Then support for intelligent document processes. So if you remember, before we went on the season break, I did a whole series on using the Microsoft AI Builder, which is the AI component in Power Platform, that allows you to create AI-enabled things. And I think we were creating an invoice automation process where if an email is sent with an attached invoice, the AI builder has been trained to extract information from that invoice and store it in a SharePoint list. If you missed that, I'll probably try to put it somewhere up on the show, somewhere in the comments for you to see that. So that's the other side as well. Then the other areas of investment that Microsoft is doing for flows, right? For Power Automate, let's put it that way. Is this also what we call the Copilot for Power Automate. So you're going to see that in the UI when I show you that. So there is a Copilot for Power Automate, which is infused. So now you can have, AI-based Copilots helping you build your Power Automate or your flows, right? So in the new flow designer. Then there's also the investment in the desktop flow. So the desktop flow is mostly utilized for the robotic process automation, like I was mentioning. And if you are interested in seeing us do a lot of stuff in the robotic process automation, just drop the comment or like the video, share it, and then just hit me up, and then we can create a series for that. So this is the plan, release plan for for Power Automate that is from Microsoft. So let's take a look at this. Let me bring this here so you can see that. So for cloud flows, right, this is and all these things, I'm going to drop the link in the description so you can go to it and review it later on after that. Yes, Eloquent, this is very it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So this is the release wave. So for cloud flows, let's take a look at some of the few things here. So there is the feature. So these are the features that are coming up and then you can see the date on that. So channel entry point for Teams workflow. It's being enabled for admins, makers, markets, and analysts automatically, but the public preview was in October. Early access not yet, but general availability for everybody to have access to it is going to happen in November 2023. So monitor performance for cloud and desktop flows. As you can see, it's in public preview now. What else? Use OAuth support for HTTP request triggers. That is generally available. So like I said, I won't go through the whole entire list, but it is available for you. I'll add it as part of the show notes to look at. Then Copilot for Power Automate, as you can see, it is generally available. So as of today, as you can see from here, Copilot for Power Automate is generally available as of October 8th. So it's actually in it now. And when I go to the UI, you're going to see it in that UI. And then the other side, which is for desktop flows, as you can see, inspect UI. So these are, so take a look at the official release stuff, and then look at if there's something you want to see that is not there, you can pretty much just request a feature, and then that will be shown. Now, so there is quickly before I talk about this, so you see this QR code here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, join the channel, just easily scan this QR code right here, and then that will take you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Most of you have been asking, do we have a community? Yes, we have a community. We have the Accra Power Platform user group, and at the end of the show as well, I will also be dropping the QR code for that. So also here, so you can scan and join that. All right, so as it stands now, let's go ahead. Let me take you to let's do this. So let's go to the desktop, and then we can, I think I should use, let's go ahead and use, let's see. I'm going to go. So actually, let me just go ahead and use this portal.office.com. And sorry, guys. And at this point, I would, entertain any questions you have on it. So let me use. Let's try this. Outlook.com. Why do I feel? Let me. Let me try this account. And that's what happens when you have a lot of accounts. You're like, which is it? Which is it? Which is it? Which is it? Let's see. Let's go to my authentication. Let's go to my authenticator, and do we have something for me to approve? Come on. Okay. Loading. Why is it taking forever to load? Oh, yeah, it's connected to a different connection, so hence it's quite slow. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please drop them. What I'm trying to do now is to connect to Power Automate, and then we can go ahead and see some of the exciting things that there we go. Looks like we are approved now. Let's throw this here. All right, I don't intend to stay on. Okay. All right, okay, so let's do this. So this is my M365, right? And if you have an M365 account, you can see you have access to a few things. Where is that? Okay, so yeah, there's Power Automate on the side here, right here. So I'm going to click on Power Automate, and that should open it into the make.powerautomate.com. And I think, yes, signing. So last week I also mentioned that if you want to know, let's use a different account. I think let's use a different account. Let's sign in with a different account, guys. Yeah, let's use Outlook. We're already signed into. I think I have an environment in Outlook. So Eliklim, have some friends joining. So from time to time, could you repeat briefly the goal of this episode so that they are not lost? Yes. Actually, let me do that. Let me do that right now. So this is what Eliklim is saying. Eliklim says that let's see. So Eliklim says, I have some friends joining, so from time to time, because yeah, so just to do this again. So this is the Power Series show, and as the name implies, it tries to demystify everything on the Microsoft Power Platform. So from Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, everything on the Microsoft Power Platform, Power Pages, right? I try to demystify that on this show. So what happens is we have series of episodes, we talk about different things, and then from time to time we would have kind of like a project, and then we work through how to build them on the show. Or sometimes if we get a lot of questions and on a particular thing, how to achieve it, we will do that on the show, and it's live, but then after that you can find it on demand. So yeah, Eliklim, thank you for that question as well. So let's go back here. Just trying to sign in into it. Selectors doesn't have let's see. Let me just close this. Let's see the environment I have. Signing. Yeah, don't worry. If it doesn't, let me try something else. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? That is what you get for having a lot of accounts. Yeah, send notifications. I'm trying to see if we can swap this again. So let's go here. Automate. Authenticator, approve it, and yeah, hopefully we should have an account, we should have an environment with this. Yeah, so just as I was saying, so I mentioned earlier on that yeah, that's fine. So let's do this. I'm going to, let me change this. let's try. I'm gonna do this again. So this is just me trying to find one of the environment to use. I have a couple of environments, so just trying to make sure I'm on the right environment to be able to do some of these things for you. Okay, so this is the default environment. So like I mentioned, if you don't have an account, you can actually create a free M365 developer account. I've shown this before. I'll probably add the link in the description, or just go back to one of the previous channels and then it will be there. So by default, right, this side of the UI looks almost the same, right? Nothing has changed on this side of the UI. But if you go ahead and let's say let's click on create, right? And if this is not here, I believe I would just change that. So I'm going to create a very simple flow. Now, today's episode is not literally to just start basics of creating Power Automate flow. I've done that before. Today is just to illustrate how things are. So let's create a simple flow. The last time, I think last week, I created a flow where we created something from Power Apps. When you click on Power Apps, right, automatically what happens is that it is going to send an email, help email to your email, right? Today, what if we changed, I used one of these buttons. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use one of these flick buttons. This is my BA button, but please, how did you get here? So let's see. So the question from Antonia is, how did you get here? Okay, so I'm going to do this again, right? So if you don't have an M365 account, like I said, you need to create an M365 account, right? Let's do this. You need to create an M365 account, and when you create an M365 account, you can go. So let's do this. Let me copy this. So let's go back to the desk. I'm going to wipe everything. All right, so let's just wipe everything. I'm going to go into a brand new, and where's my notepad when you need it? So so we're going to paste this here. So this is it. If you go to make make.powerautomate.com, right, this is the URL, make.powerautomate.com, which I will gladly reply to you, so you can go. So just going to use that. I'm going to bring this down here. So if you go to make.powerautomate.com, you're going to get to this UI, right? So this is it. And because I've already logged in, it's bringing me to the default page. That's what I'm saying, that if you don't have an account, right, it will tell you go through the process of signing up, but create a free Office 365 developer account, and then you can use this to create your flow. So thank you very much. Awesome. Hope good that answered your question. So right here, I'm just going to, so where is that? So this is what I was saying. So let's say one of these buttons, right? This is my BL1. So do I want to use my BL1? Okay, no problem. Yeah, I'll use my BL1. I'll change it again, right? So let me, first of all, I'm going to try to make, I want to make it very, very simple. So we'll start with a manual flow. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here. So if you follow me on the left here, you should see a create, which is this one, right? So we're going to click on that. We're going to do the create. So let's click on create, and then we'll be met with this, right? Now, so because this is a different environment, I see there's some other difference, but I'll come to that difference pretty soon. So I'm going to create an instant cloud flow, which is this one will allow me to trigger it for it to run. So I'm going to click on this, and then we will say new UI demo, and I'll say this is manually triggered, and I'll just click on create. So let's do this. So this here. Now, so this is what, the previous how do you call it, the previous, or default Power Automate UI looks like, right? If you are not, let's say, if you're not using the new UI, if your environment is not supportive of the new UI, this is what it is like. So here, all it's saying is that anytime, you know, I trigger this thing manually, I want it to do something. So it's as simple as, so from beneath here, I can select this new step. What is the next step, right? So we'll do this, click this, and then let's say I want to, let's do email, right? So let's say Office 365, I want to send an email, right? So I'll just go ahead and say send an email. So that's the next thing I want to do. So I'm saying with this one, anytime I click on that, that's gonna, okay, so no problem. I showed this last week, so I'm just going to, don't worry about the connectors now. I just want you to see the UI. This is the old UI. And then we'll transition to see the new, you know, you can see the changes. So here, I would have gone ahead to provide, let's say, the email. So let's say, sadrani@outlook.com, right? So it's coming here. Subject will probably be help me button clicked, right? And then we'll just say, I need your help, right? So basically, this is a flow, right? This is a very simple flow. Now I realize that I just click the add step and I'm able to add a new step, and then I can save and run. This is how it looks like. Now let's go back. Awesome. So as an MCT, do I have access to M365 developer? Let's answer this question. Interesting. Okay, so the question is, as an MCT, do I have access to this? So even better, right? So as an MCT, you have, I believe Microsoft gives you I think an E5 M365 license. You have a license, an M365 license from Microsoft, and because of that, that gives you access to some of these things. But then again, you can also add up the developer account, which is free, or you can do the Power Platform community license, which is free, right? So you can use that as well to get access to this, right? So I hope that answers your questions, Antonia. All right, so this is old stuff. Now I think I'm ready to show you. Let's go to the new stuff. So I'm still going to go here. Let's go. You see, it's not recognizing it. So let's leave this. And now we are going to change. So let's go back again. So make the powerautomate.com. Let's go here. And this time around, awesome. Welcome, Antonia. Awesome. All right. And this time around, I'm going to sign out. And I'm going to now, let's sign out of this one. I'm going to sign out of all my sessions, and then we'll use one of the account, like one of my good account. All right, so let's go here. We're going to use this account. I'm going to sign in, and this will be equivalent to your. Okay, this is going to be equivalent to your E5. Account 78. Let's do some multi-factor authentication. The scam is becoming too much. Make sure you are securing your environment. All right. So let's go here, and awesome. Don't worry, not now. I want to authenticate that. So let's go ahead. Interesting. Let me change my environment and see. Default environment. I hope I have it in my environment. Else I'll just use a different. Let's see. Yeah, you let me use this one and go ahead and let me look at my flows. Okay, so this was the one we created last week, which is the so this is the one we created. AI power. Yes. So this is a flow we created in the last episode, where it comes from a Power Automate and then it sends an email, right? Quite simple. So let's go ahead and create a new one. Let me do this. I'm just realizing something, but let me go ahead and create it. I'm actually just realizing something. Just a sec. Let me see this. Let's change this. Actually, I'm going to do this. And yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them and I would be answering them as we move on. So let's go to portal.office.com. So that we can see the new UI. So you've seen the old UI, right? So let's bring, I'll move this old UI out, and then we can bring, let's do this, Power Automate. And now let's move this out of the way and welcome this. Not now. I'm not going to use this as my, there you go, solid. Awesome. Now, so almost immediately you can see there's a change. Yes, I'm using a different tenant just to illustrate a few things. So now you can see that almost immediately at the top here, we have your Copilot, right? There. So let's automate something. What should I do? So here you can start to, describe what you want to do and the flow will create it for you, right? Like it will just spin up stuff for you. But today we are not really looking at the Copilot side of things, but it's part of the UI enhancement. So here I could describe, so there's an example here. It says every month, copy all files from one drive folder to another OneDrive folder. So if I select this and I generate, it will go ahead and create, all that for me. So let's go ahead and then create, just do a new create flow. And then, come on. And let's say, so I wanted to create an instant flow, and then I'll do this, and I will call this UI demo. All right, create. And now take a look at this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the new Power Automate UI, right? As you can see, totally different from the previous one. And then from here, you can see the Copilot integration right in the designer. So here I can, I can ask questions. I can, type in my questions, and then you can also see that now my prompt or my trigger is here. So pretty much some intuitive, UI there, as you can see. Now let's go through a few of them. So now on the left side, you see here there's more room. Now one of the things they did here is that one of the complaints, if you've been doing a lot of Power Automate build, is small real estate when you're writing expressions and doing stuff. So this time around, it's as simple as, now check this out. So let me actually zoom in so it's a bit bigger for us to see. So in the same way, I will just click here and then add an action. And as you can see on the left side here, there are all the actions, right? You can see all the, runtimes, built-in, standard, premium, custom, good, quick filters here. So in this case, I wanted to send an email, right? So the same thing again, I can do mail. And then as you can see, is this Office 365? Is it mail? Is it different things? And obviously we're using Office 365, right? So I can, and it's by default, they are showing some of the commonly used actions, right? So you can actually select those actions if you want to, or you can just click on see more here. So let me show you this. So we want to use the Office, 365 Outlook, right? And they are showing the, let's say the last 3 or top 3 common used actions, right? Which is get mail tips for a mailbox, send email with options and all that. And if you don't want to, if what you're looking for is not in here, all you have to do is, pick this, see more, and that's going to drop it down for you to select all the other stuff in there. So I'll do see more, and then you can see it opens up the Office 365, and then you can see all the actions. All the actions this time around neatly arranged there, and you can, click here to see more details about it. Now, so since we want to send an email, right? So we want to send an email, so I'll just select this. And now check this out. Now, if I don't need the Copilot now, I'm going to close the Copilot. But check this out. Look at the real estate. All right, and I can drag this around. Okay. Now, look at the real estate here. Maybe you're not probably seeing this well, but look at the real estate. Right now, so for every action or trigger you select on the left, this is how you have the new UI that allows you to set the properties, the settings, and you can now see the code, right? The code view of what you're doing. So for those who want to go have a peek into it, how it looks like, you can actually see this. And then if you want to do the testing, you can. There's a whole about section of it. So here, I know that it's an Office 365 connector. This operation sends an email if there's any tag, and then testing. If I want to, disable, I can do that. And that reminds me, I get a lot of questions on debugging Power Platform or flows or Power Apps. So we're talking about debugging and stuff, but we'll come back to that later. And then the code view, right? So as of now, you can see it. These are the parameters. 2, please, you have content for getting started with any of the Power Platforms as yes, like I mentioned, I'll share the details. Everything your go-to is Microsoft Learn. Free stuff right from the producers of the software. It's free. Nothing can beat that, right? So here you can see the app ID. You can see the connector, you can see the operation ID, send email, and then if there's any run after or stuff like that, we'll see that, right? So, and then the settings, if you want to, set any actions to it, and networking. So this is something you would see. So I think from time to time, I have to be switching between the old and the new, so you can see how the difference is. So let me do this again. So all I'm doing is I'm just creating another one, the old UI, so we can compare it. So I'll call this UI demo old, and then create. Now it's migrated. Sorry guys. Don't worry, we'll stick to this one. So now here to the parameters, right? So all I want to do is to send an email. So I'm sending it to I'm sending it to, if it's myself, I can send it to myself. So let's say this is from, actually, let's bring this one here, so that and don't worry, sometimes, as I've noticed, sometimes it takes a bit of a time if you've not already switched, or if you've not already seen the change, right? Sometimes it takes a while for it to switch to the new UI, for you to see that. But so if you're not seeing that, don't worry. Don't worry at all. Don't worry about that. What will happen is that it would reflect. So let's go ahead. So here I'm going to select this again, and then the actions. So we want to send an email. So I do mail, and there, see more. So the same process, right? And then we'll be send an email again. So now the actions would be, so I want to send this to, let's send it to my Gmail. So sodrani@gmail.com. And then what's the title? We'll say new UI alert. And then we'll say this is just a test UI. Okay. And yeah, pretty much quite simple. Now, another thing I want you to take a look at is, do you see this? Just a sec. Now, take a look at this here. Now, before this would have shown pretty small somewhere. It was very hard to see, or sometimes you can even miss it. Now, what this is allowing you to use either expressions, or you pick some auto-populated field, right? If you've been doing Power Automate or Power Platform for some time. So the FX here, the fx you are seeing here, right? This fx here is expression. It's allowing you to put in, PowerFX expression, and then this is allowing you, right, to actually pick, maybe if you have another action at the top, auto or dynamic. Yeah, that's the right word. Dynamic content from another flow. All right. So for instance, if I want to say this is just a test UI from, and I want to put some expression. So let's try the expression. So I can press this and making sure that the cursor is where you want the expression. You can see now here again, one of the very serious pain points for us who are building Power Automate was the real estate. If I want to type expression, sometimes it was just like a small text box and you have to write, and it goes into, and it's so hard to deal with. But now check this out, right? I can literally, so let's say I'm looking for UTC now, which is just going to put in, so the message is going to read, this is just a test UI from, and then the current timestamp, right? But assuming I have a lot of expressions to write, now check this out. I can now, boom, let me close the Copilot. Now check this out. If I come here, press this, and then let's say UTC now. Now check this out. Boop. Look at all this UI. Look at all this real estate. Now I have all this space to type my expressions, to review it, and it's see, this is a game changer, right? This makes it easy for us, type a lot more things. And once I'm okay with that, just go ahead and add it, and that is added within the flow, right? And I can go ahead and here, if I have any specific settings, I can change them from here. Whether I want to secure the input, secure the output, that we'll come back to this, some other time. Don't worry about that. Now, I can now go back to the code view and see, look at that. It's pre-filled all that for me. So if you're curious and want to know what is the code, what's actually happening, what's the magic behind it, you can actually peek at this, right? And yeah, we can go ahead and do. So let me go ahead and save this. Oh yeah, we didn't put a 2, sorry. So here, I'm going here and say esodrani@gmail.com. Now, do you see that? Another thing, how the visual indicators, red, invalid parameter or missing parameter, tells you that there's something wrong, right? Green, you're good to go. Everything looks fine. So I'll put that here, and then I'll try saving this again. Let's see. Oh, come on. Yeah. Let's just fill this in. Put a semicolon somewhere here. And then bring this here, and there you go. And then I'll save this again. And boop, it's saving. We should see everything good. Green, there you go, at the top there. And we are in business. So now I can go ahead and test this, right? And I'll click manually test this flow. And then I'll hit test. Sorry guys, let me hide this so you can see. So I'll hit the test down here, and then so the flow is running. It will try to sign up for the first time. If it's the first time using it, it will sign up, and then I can run the flow, right? And then done. So technically this flow has run. Now check this out again. This is another cool thing that the new UI gives you. So look at this here. Now in the review field, I can now see, maybe you can't see this properly, but now look at this. I can now see how many seconds each action or each stage took, right? I can see initially you had to go into the flow runs to see all that information, but now it's visually available for you. And then you can look at this on the side. You can see, if I click here, you can immediately see from this new UI, you can see what the inputs that came in, the timestamp. If I click this, you can see all the actions, how all these things played out, the properties, the status code, all that information now easily here for you to see, right? So this is how to create a very simple, very simple flow, right? Now let's go to our Gmail and see if truly, right? If truly, our message came through. But then you can see, if you open this up, you can see this was the parameters that were passed, this was the results when we sent it and all that. So now I can pretty much say, if you want to see the raw input or output, you can also see that. But visually, you can see how the UI, allows you to do all these things. Now, it doesn't come with it. So let's open this up. So here you can see Samuel Adrani, new UI alert that is showing here. If I open it up, you can see the message coming from here says this is just a test UI from, and then you realize that the UTC that I added, that is showing here as an addition to the flow. So basically, these are some of the, the cool things about the UI. If I go to edit, back into the edit mode, it takes me into the edit mode. I can easily add now notes to it. I can just easily collapse it. I can move this around by just dragging. I can control, if you have a mouse wheel in the middle, you can control scroll it to make it bigger or smaller. Now I can when I open it up, I have a lot more options I can do, right? And yeah, so pretty interesting. Now the other thing is that the new thing is now, even for most of the Power Platform applications, right, you can now see co-author. So if anybody's working on the same flow with me, I would see his profile somewhere at the top here, and that shows me that the person is also working on the flow with me. Now, so a few things that I want us to look at. Let's see, and then we can look. Now it doesn't, there's some things it doesn't support for now, which is you can do in the classic mode. So someone says, so if I now go out, right, got it, and then I go to, let's say, my flows, right? If I go to my flows now, I should see, the UI flow here. And then if I probably just click on it, as you can see, this is it. The information about the flow is here, and then I can edit it, and then pretty much is back in there for me to use. And then at the side here, there is the Copilot stuff. So let me hide the picture in picture, and let's try the Copilot. So let's say in this case, what do we want to do with this? Let's say after I press the button, I send an email, and let's say add an entry into the notification SharePoint list. So I'm just trying this on the fly, but this is the Copilot functionality inside. So what I'm saying is that now there is an already existing flow, right? And now I'm telling it to add an entry into the notification SharePoint list, which is, the assumption is that, hey, there's a notification SharePoint list, right? So on this flow, I want you to add, now check a look at, now do you see what's happening? Look at that. I didn't have to, I literally didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was just type, saying that, look, add, do you see that? Now, because it was trying to, I could have given you more details and we'll try to do it, but basically what it did was it went ahead to add the create item action. Now it's just failing to retrieve the data. So in this case, I'll just go ahead, select it, and you can see, so you see it's using Contoso right here. Look at that. it's using Contoso, which is the default, right? But we are not using Contoso. In here, I could have given you the URL, right? I could have given you the URL, and then you see that it is looking for the notification list because I mentioned it, and that is entity extraction from the generative from your Copilot, right? So here, if I had given it the site URL correctly and then giving it the correct list name, it would have done exactly this for us, right? It would go ahead and then add the action, which you've seen it do right here. It will add this action, and then all we have to do is just go configure it. So these are the cool stuff in terms of the UI, the real estate. You've seen the real estate space in there. There's a Copilot integration on your right. As you can see that Now, what I want us to take a look at are the few things that you can't at this moment. Most of them are actually, being worked on, so you wouldn't have any issues with with it. So let's see this. So basically, this is coming from the Microsoft official documentation. We've seen the trigger, we've seen the co-pilot buttons, and the window for it. We've seen the new how do you call it, the new design canvas. We've seen the workspace on the left as well. The only thing that I want to draw your attention to is we've seen all these things, the configuration, we've seen it, the settings, we've seen the code view. The drop zones, I'll show you the drop zones right now, where pretty much you can move items. We'll do a simple conditional thing here. The zoom buttons down there will show you that. The things to note, all right, the things to note here is the limitations, which is what I want us to pay attention to, right? Before you say, I switched to the new one, I'm not able to do. So these are the limitations. First of all, non-open API flows, you will not be able to use them as of now, right? So any API, especially custom connectors, if you're using a custom connector, that should conform to a non-open AI flow, but they are working on that. So eventually that will support it. You can still use that in a classic UI. Then some hybrid triggers might not work, so for instance, when a record is selected in Dataverse, when a flow is run from another business process flow, and now mostly a lot of the connectivity into Teams is not yet supported or worked on. Not all of them is still working on. You can't trigger a flow on a comment. The Power Pages connector is not yet done. Power Apps V1 trigger is not supported. I think I still use the V2 any which ways if you're doing a new stuff, unless you have an existing stuff that runs on V1. And then performing a change set request in Dataverse does not trigger. You can't use that in the new UI. A solution flow using connections instead of connection references supported, because I think this might be backup compatible at some point, but for now, I think it's just trying to adhere to some best practices going forward, right? Because it is recommended to use connection reference instead of connections, because when you're migrating to different environments, there's a lot of problems if you don't use references instead of the actual connection. Then you try to export to a different solution and they say something is missing. So these are the known limitations, right? I think at this point, it is fair to say that before we call it a day, because you've seen all the UI stuff, let's go ahead to show you the video I mentioned earlier, so that we can see the power of the Power Platform. So give me just a sec. Let me load this up. And just once. Hold on. Let me bring this in perspective. And then let me know if you can hear the audio.
Banks and credit unions have traditionally grown through acquisition and often find themselves juggling multiple legacy systems and data sources. Let's see how some of the new features in the 2023 release wave for Power Platform can help organizations shift to this customer-centric model by streamlining onboarding and achieving operational excellence. Despite the proliferation of modern technology, a surprising number of banks and credit unions still require their employees to fill out paperwork by hand and rely on manual processes. This is where Power Automate comes into play. A typical manual process is ensuring the compliance of the approved invoices. To guarantee that all invoices go through the required process and to check the presence of a PO for a specific PR, you can now create a view of accounts payable process. With that view, it's easy to see that several POs are being approved without being compliant. Next step is to set up an automation that flags those POs and then create a business rule associated to a trigger to filter all the POs created without the required PR. Within the Root Cause Analysis tab, you can also specify specific metric and attributes for missed discounts. You click Analyze and you get clear and detailed insights for process improvement. In addition to that, you'll be able to export the relevant POs and check the performance of the prediction model. After creating the business rule, Power Automate recommends a flow automation. The business rule trigger has just been created in Process Advisor, and the predefined attributes have been pre-populated within the Power Automate Flow Designer. Another crucial part of automating invoice processing is to make sure that the document data extraction process gets automated as well. With Power Automate, organizations can use AI to do that, and it's typical that some data isn't predicted correctly. With this release, we're bringing a new validation station to the Power Platform to review data extracted by AI Builder within Power Automate flows. This will help organizations review the predicted data and fix it if needed to avoid processing incorrect data downstream. You can review and fix data, and you can also reject an entire document with a specific reason. Once satisfied with the changes, the field can be marked as reviewed. This validation station also allows you to improve document tags. You can add or remove tags if these have not been detected properly, and these changes will be seamlessly sent to the owner of the model, so it can be improved. Let's now see how Power Virtual Agents is helping make the sanctioning of mortgage and loans faster for banks and financial institutions.
So, yeah, so that is the Power Automate side of things. I deliberately didn't continue with the Power Virtual Agent because that is something that I believe we can tackle at another time, still on the show, if you want us to do, the Power Virtual Agent 1. So, 5 minutes to go. So if there's any question now, I want us to do something. So if you have, let's say, an idea, a concept, if you have a question on automating a particular process, right? I'm actually doing a call for what, submissions or submissions of interest. Let's put it that way. So I'm asking you, comment or reach out. Yeah, actually comment under this video an automation process you want to see us do on the show, right? Comment under this video, and then we'll pick randomly, or probably we'll look at one that is quite interesting and probably meets a lot of general use cases, and then we'll try to execute it. We'll do it on the show, right? Sometime on the show. So call to action, that's it. Drop it at, if you have any business process you want us to automate using Power Automate, just comment, especially from on this side of the video, comment on it, and then I would walk through how to do that on the show, probably, talk more into it. Now, bonus, just as a side, so there's this whole bandwagon of generative AI, and especially from the Microsoft Designer. If you haven't tried it, go try it out, where it is literally generating images for you based on certain prompts that you use. First of all, I'm going to share a prompt right now. Okay, I'm going to share a prompt, and let's go to the desktop. So this is the prompt. All right, so the prompt I used, and I'll show you the different images that was generated. So I said a 3D cartoon, African male, late 30s, with a seductive smile, standing at an angle, wearing a blue Microsoft MVP jacket, brown round eyes, and a very short black soft smooth hair, with a light beard, holding an Arduino Uno. Text 3D rendered, typography, illustration, painting, photo, poster, blah blah blah. Right. So this is the prompt that I used, and ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the renderings the AI Microsoft Designer, right? The generative AI. I know, right? So it says this is one rendition of me. This is another rendition of me holding an Arduino. I don't know why the Afro thing. I don't know where that Afro thing is coming from. And then this is another one. I don't know which version of myself I like. I don't know if it's the one with the earring or the one with the dreads, the locks. And then this is another one. This is another one of myself that the AI thinks that is me. And then there's this one, which actually this is kind of like my personal favorite, because this is more in line with who or what I think I would be like. So is that another one? Yeah, I think that's it. So Yes, so that is what the AI thinks I am. Thank you so much. It's interesting. Yes, it says that is what I am supposed to be any which ways. Can you imagine that? So yes, it says so grow an afro. Interesting. I should grow an afro. Well, I think I could look into growing the afro. I think I could look into that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for today joining us today. If this was interesting, please we ask that you subscribe to the channel for us so that it will help us. It'll help us grow the channel. And like I said, if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can scan the QR code up here, right? You can scan the QR code up here. And then also for those that have been asking about the Accra Power Platform, the local community where you can join to learn some of these things, you can also do that from here. So what you're seeing now on the screen is the QR code for the Accra Power Platform user group. So scan this, you can join the WhatsApp group. Scan this one to join the WhatsApp group, and then you can get some of the updates. In terms of updates, we are registered for the Global Power Platform Bootcamp 2024, which is going to be 24th February 2024. We'll be sharing more details about that. This is going to be a hybrid event, so it's going to be in person and then also virtual. So be on the lookout for speakers, myself, some MVPs. I'm trying to pull my boss also into it. All people, some MVPs, some Microsoft staff. So be on the lookout for that as well. And then other interesting things that would come up. Well, until then, thank you so much for joining us for this this rather interesting episode of the Power Series. I'll come your way again next week with another instructive or another interesting episode next week Sunday. Go into the new week with a positive energy, positive vibe, make a change, be the change you want to see, and let's together make the world a better place using technology. With that said, I still remain yours truly, Samuel Adranyi. I am out, and thank you for joining.